Hello everybody, welcome back to another video for the day. Now going right back into r/Tales of Neckbeard, and beforehand, if you've happened to have seen that there's been these Tales of Neckbeard videos back to back, it's mainly because these are the only videos that don't seem to get flagged as soon as I go to upload them. I have other Neckbeard videos, I have other nice guy videos, and I have other things set up, but unfortunately for some reason YouTube thinks it's okay to flag the video the immediate second it comes out, despite me heavily censoring a lot of the content in it. Once this issue is solved, I will be sure to go back to the varying content from day to day. Thank you, I hope you guys enjoy the content. Let's get right into the cringe. Our first story comes to us from username Hinata Hyuga. Neckbeard in a comic store creeps on me because I'm dressed as Hinata Hyuga. I have a few Neckbeard/nice guy stories, but this one shakes me to my core. I work at this comic store that unfortunately is closing next month, not for reasons related to the story, and we sell almost everything for your geeky needs. For Halloween 2019, we were allowed to wear costumes to work as long as they were appropriate and didn't cover our faces. Being that I've always wanted to cosplay but never had the chance, and I work at a nerd store, I dressed up as Hinata Hyuga from Naruto, Shippuden era. It wasn't the best, but I liked it, customers liked it, and I had fun geeking out with fans, so that's all that matters. During my shift, the Neckbeard came in. This guy looked similar to what we see on a somewhat regular basis in the shop, greasy ponytail, red in the face with acne. He wasn't really overweight, but was chunky, stained and stretched out gamer shirt, cargo shorts, and a trench coat. When he walked in, we all greeted him and told him there was a buy one get one 50% off on all shirts in the store, and if he needs any help just to ask us. We all go back to our duties, me putting new figurines on the shelf, Emma fixing mannequins in the window, and Ted chilling behind the counter. I felt someone behind me, so I turned around and saw Neckbeard standing there. I assumed he was looking at the figurines, so I apologized and stepped aside so he could look better. Conversation went like this: "Oh, I'm sorry, let me move out of your way." "Oh, no, you're fine. I'm just admiring your cosplay. You look just like Hinata." "Thank you. It was a last minute, but I'm happy with the result." "Yeah, you have the perfect tots for her." Me now feeling uncomfortable. "Oh, thanks." A note for those who don't watch Naruto. Hinata Hyuga is a side character that is very shy and quiet. She is in love with Naruto all through the series and eventually marries him and stays home to take care of their children. It is no secret that she has a nice figure, but she wears frumpy clothes because that's just how she is. Still, this doesn't stop creeps from looting and fetishizing Hinata due to her body and the fact that she's a traditional woman. Despite this though, I adore Hinata for her character development with her personality and find her to be inspiring and relatable. I tried moving away, but he followed close behind, talking about how he wishes all women would be like Hinata, a quiet, loyal, busty housewife and mother. He also said gross stuff such as he knows that she must be a kinky kitten because how else would she have snatched up Naruto? The Neckbeard also bragged about the lewd figurines, art, and body pillow he has of Hinata too. I once again tried breaking away from him, but he grabbed my hand, pulled me closer, and said, "I bet you're just like her. I mean, look at you. You're so curvy and you have those soft, sexy lips too. You seem innocent, but you're begging for it just like Hinata." By now, I feel absolutely sick to my stomach. I was already grossed out with him when he was talking like that about Hinata, but now I feel like I'm going to vomit. I pulled my hand away and screamed for Ted from the other side of the shop. Ted came speeding around the corner and I ran to him. "Get him out of here." "What did I do? I was just looking at the figurines." He was touching me and said I'm asking for it. "What is it with women crying rope just because a man looks at her? You make victims look like liars." "So you're saying you didn't touch her?" The Neckbeard crosses his arms and nodded with a scoff. Ted nodded too and put an arm around me, I guess to comfort me, and said, "So if we go to the back and check the cameras, they'll prove that you didn't do anything." I watched the color drain from this Neckbeard's face before it turned a bright red. "Why would you need to look at the cameras? Isn't the customer always right?" "Well, if you're innocent, you wouldn't have a problem with me checking." "I can't believe this. This is what's wrong with the world. That slut is freaking lying." He stepped forward and was pointing at me with such anger and looked like his head was going to explode. Ted stepped forward and was gesturing for the Neckbeard to leave, but he kept screaming at him. I can hear Ted telling him that if he didn't leave, he would call the police. Neckbeard still didn't budge, so Ted grabbed his arms and pinned them behind his back and forcefully walked him to the front door and pushed him out. Before what happened could register, Ted locked the door to keep him out. Neckbeard is slamming his fists on the door, screaming for us to open the door, and I started having a panic attack. Emma walked me to the back of the store into our gaming room so I won't hear anything, and Ted calls the cops. They showed up, watched the cameras, I hiccup cried my way through my side of the story, and the Neckbeard was escorted away. I spent 2 hours after curled up in a ball in a room until I was able to function again and enjoyed the rest of my Halloween shift. I met more Naruto fans who loved my cosplay, which made me feel better. For about a month, I was scared of going out in fear that I'll run into Neckbeard again. I was also scared of opening my curtains and leaving doors unlocked because the thought that he found where I lived was in the back of my mind. 3 months later though, I'm not as scared, but I still keep looking over my shoulder. The comic shop creeps after that have been nothing compared to the Neckbeards, so I've been able to handle them on my own. I still absolutely adore Hinata. He did nothing to change my mind about her, and she is still my best girl. It really is unfortunate that that happened to you, and unfortunately it happens more than everybody thinks, and it's just weird, because people think, okay, person's dressed up as this character, that does not mean that they are that character in the mind. Hopefully he never runs into you, and you never run into him, and everything just ends up peaceful. That would be very nice to happen. Our next story comes to us from username Habs00. Kinda sounds like a name I've covered on this channel before. Hopefully my last Neckbeard story for a while. Context. So this takes place a few months ago when I was still with my girlfriend at the time. We've since broken up, but ended on good terms. She is a very good looking girl, and as a result, she gets a lot of attention from guys. Most are alright when she says she has a boyfriend, but this guy was genuinely not. We're both 19. Cast. Kat, my girlfriend who is 19. Yash, me, a few months away from being 19. Obi is old beard, easily in his 30 or 40s, stank like a public toilet, had a bushy, unkempt beard, and wore very stained clothes which were too small for him. So me and Kat were out at our local bars. We go to there pretty much all the time and even knew some of the staff and regulars. We both run into our different friend groups and hang out with them for a while. I was outside smoking and Kat was inside somewhere. I get a text from her friend to come inside because something was wrong. I rush in to see her at the bar looking uncomfortable with Obi staring at her from around the corner. The bar sort of curves around. I go up to her and kiss her and ask her if she's alright. Obi took this opportunity to come over and slot himself between us as with his back to me. I move over to her side and he glares at me but doesn't say anything. Now, I'm pretty short and so is Kat, and this guy was quite a bit taller than us. He starts talking to Kat and she ends the conversation quickly, and me and her start talking about some random stuff. After this, she stays with me the whole night until she needed to go to the bathroom. When she came out, he was waiting for her and started talking bad about me. Keep in mind, I was wearing a D&D shirt, so he started saying that it's a baby's game and how good anime is. I wasn't there for this, but I come back cause she was taking a while, and as I do, he tries to grab her arse. I rush over and ask him what the frick he thinks he's doing. He pushes me away and tries to trap Kat in the corner, so I kick him in the balls from behind and was about to smash his face in, but I got pulled away and then the security came and took all three of us to separate rooms. Me and Kat explained what happened, and apparently he said that he was just talking to her and I suddenly attacked him for no reason. And this is the best part. He said I shouted Allahu Akbar. I'm an Asian guy and used to be a Muslim, but became agnostic. He was trying to paint me as some white-hating terrorist, and understandably I was pissed. Luckily, the staff knew us and they believed us over him. They said that he'd been reported for being creepy before, but he always left before they could act on it, so he was barred for life. Not that exciting, but thought it should be said. You know, I've done so many of these videos and I'm still confused as to why anybody thinks doing any stuff like this is okay and then trying to lie about it to get away with it. Our last story comes to us from username Evie90210, my abusive pedophile Neckbeard ex-boyfriend. This is from 2 years ago when I was 16 and he was 22, and I only recently realized he was a neckbeard. I don't remember a lot of what happened, but what I do remember still haunts me and I just need to get it off my chest, so sorry if this story is all over the place and is too long. I met this guy over Facebook when I was only a few months into being 16. We didn't have any mutual friends, but since I was young and desperate for any kind of attention, I would message him anyway. We talked for a few weeks and learned that we had the same taste in emo music. He didn't have any photos posted to Facebook, so he'd send some to me through messages. So after a few weeks, we decided to meet up for a quote-unquote date. I ended up lying to my parents and said I was going to an event with some friends so I'd be able to stay out as late as he asked. The whole time I was walking to our meetup spot, which happened to be a video game store at my local shopping center, I had a feeling in my stomach like something was wrong, which should have been the first sign that I should just call it off. I get to the meetup spot, and as soon as I see him, he looks a lot different to the photos he'd sent me. He's overweight, has a different hairstyle, wears glasses, and looks older than the photos which he took younger, thin, and has a longer hairstyle with no glasses. This should have been my second sign to just leave, since he didn't notice me until a few minutes later. When he did see me and our date started, we decided to walk around, mostly in complete silence, and ended up hanging out at a park near my house. I tried desperately to have a conversation with him, which failed because he was only interested in Naruto, Call of Duty, action movies, and emo and rap music, while I was more into books, Disney movies, Orin High School Host Club, I believe that's the acronym, and emo music. Once our date ended, he walked me home since it wasn't very far away, and he parked his car nearby. The day after our date, he said he liked me enough to be his girlfriend, but only if I was willing to follow some basic rules. 1. No looking at, talking to, messaging, or hugging other guys, since this was considered cheating. 2. No male friends or family in my life. Yes, this did include my brothers and father. What did this dude think they were gonna do, Sweet Home Alabama her? 3. I must reply to his messages straight away or else else, I was considered to be ignoring him and must be talking to other guys. 4. I must spend all of my time with him, and if I'm not with him, i.e. when I had to go to school and be home before 6 p.m., I had to tell him where I was and who I was with at all times. 5. I must allow him access to my phone whenever he wants, because if I have nothing to hide, then it shouldn't be that big of a deal. And 6. I must do everything he says and never say no to him. This should have been a huge red flag, especially since he was so open about telling me these rules and reminded me of them constantly. So a daily routine would go something like this. He'd wake me up by constantly calling my phone. I'd get ready and then walk to school while talking on the phone with him the whole time. I'd go to classes while messaging him the whole time and ignoring my teachers and schoolwork. At lunch, I talked on the phone with him and ignore my friends, who after a month or two realized that they couldn't help me, so just left me alone. After school, he'd pick me up, buy me cigarettes, take me to KFC, and then take me to his place where we'd watch TV, and he'd pressure me into either messing around, giving him an HJ, or giving him a BJ. He'd then take me home, which consisted of more talking on the phone until it was already way past my bedtime and I needed to go to sleep. And this was just on a good day when he didn't yell at me, accuse me of cheating, call me names like slut or wholesome person, and accuse everyone else in my life of abusing me. This went on for about 4 months until he started buying weed for me as well, which I also became addicted to, as it was the only thing that made me feel good and made me feel like everything that he was doing to me wasn't really happening to me. I know it doesn't make much sense, but that's what it felt like. It was also around this time that I started realizing that he was abusing me, but it felt like it was too late because I was now relying on him for cigarettes, weed, and food. Food was another way of coping. Once we started buying weed, our routine changed. He started picking me up super early in the morning to take me to a local abandoned warehouse to get high and start small fires. Then he'd take me to school, but I was always way too stoned to go to class, so I'd usually just skip class and read books in and out of bounds areas in school. This place became a sort of escape haven from everything going on in my life. I'd lie and tell my boyfriend that I was in class so he wouldn't accuse me of being with guys and cheating on him. Then after school, he'd pick me up, take me to the warehouse again to smoke more weed, and then take me to KFC and then go back to his place to either fall asleep or pressure me into messing around an HJ or a BJ. He'd then take me home usually about an hour after my curfew, where we'd talk on the phone until I told him I was going to sleep, when in actual fact I would stay up until about 3 a.m. watching Bob's Burgers in peace or secretly talking to random guys I met online. After another 4 months of this, and roughly 1 month in an on and off relationship, I finally realized just how unhealthy it all was and left him for good. I felt bad to start off with, unlike my previous attempts at leaving him, but after a few days I started to feel better because I could see how much more freedom I had. My friends started talking to me again, I could actually focus on school, I could talk to my brothers and dad again, I could do whatever I want with my free time, and I actually started sleeping better. I even reconnected with an old male friend who had also recently been through a breakup, and we'd become close and eventually started liking each other. My ex-boyfriend did try calling me and getting back together with me after a while though. I guess he saw that I wasn't going to come crawling back like I'd previously done. I told him I didn't want him abusing me anymore and that I'd found someone else. He called me a slut and a barge and then hung up on me. I will admit that his insults did hurt me, but my friends helped me through it and told me it was for the best. I have more stories of what else happened in that relationship if anyone is interested, such as the time he found out I was talking to other boys online, the time he pushed me for not playing video games with him, or the time he convinced me to run away with him on Christmas Day. Sorry if this wasn't as interesting as some of the other posts on here, and that it was quite long with the wording that was messy, but it did cause me to have moderate depression and extreme anxiety disorder and PTSD, which I'm still working through now. Luckily, I have a much better life now with a man who treats me with respect and is soon to be the father of my child. No, it's not the guy I found after my abuser Neckbeard X. For anyone who went through this or is going through similar events as I did, please get some help. Listen to your friends and family and do everything you can to try to get out of that situation, because sometimes the outcome of leaving isn't as bad as you think it'll be. Have a great day, everyone. To anybody reading this, if you happen to be in a relationship that is somewhat similar to this, where you kind of feel like you'll be nowhere without this relationship, think again, because you have so much potential in yourself. Your life maybe only be what, like a quarter, fifth over? You still have a lot of life to live, so you don't need to be living it under that shoulder. If friends are reaching out to you knowing what situation you're in, then yeah, I'd be good to hear them out if they're actually good people. And if you want to, also, therapy's another good option. The phrase, "you will be nothing without me," is absolutely the most false thing I could ever think of, seriously. I've had this mentality since my past relationship, and yes, I did wind up dating somebody who constantly cheated on me, and not only that, broke up with me and replaced me with their new boyfriend on Valentine's Day. That's kind of a bad thing, and that definitely threw me in the gutter for a while, but I then finally realized there's more to that, more to life than that. I hope you feel better, and I wish you the best. But for that, that's going to have to be it for the video. If you had liked what you had seen, be sure to like the video, comment down below what you liked about the video, and afterwards consider subscribing to the channel, checking out other videos. I'll be sure to see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching, and bye-bye.